Beyond the Gates spoilers for Thursday, May 29, indicate that things will get a little dicey in the land of Fairmont Crest. From the sounds of it, Dany Dupree will continue her meltdown surrounding Hayley Lawson-Hamilton's pregnancy news. Chelsea Hamilton stumbled upon Hayley telling Bill Hamilton at the country club during the May 27 show and immediately rushed to her mom to tell her on the May 28 episode. During Wednesday's show, Dany had all sorts of emotions as she tried to process the news that she was no longer going to hold the title of being the sole mother of Bill's children. As she tried to find the baby announcement on social media, Dany had a light bulb moment where she realized that Hayley might be faking her pregnancy. Anything is possible in the land of soaps, but as the couple just started trying, there doesn't seem to be a motive for Hayley to lie. Having said that, Dany doesn't know that Hayley and Bill were trying to conceive, so it looks like she'll have a confrontation with Bill on the May 29 episode and fill him in on her theory. How will he react to her accusation against his new bride? Plus, will Dany turn to alcohol in light of this new situation? Across town, Catherine "Cat" Richardson and Jacob Hawthorne will continue their investigation into Leslie Thomas's and Laura Peterson's car crash. Perhaps Cat should think about putting her brand purse ambitions aside and opting for a PI business or a career in law enforcement, as the two will score some key information about what landed Laura in the hospital. Is this about the auto accident specifically, or the potassium injection that regressed Laura's recovery? Either way, things are looking grim for Leslie at this point. Speaking of the sociopath, BTG spoilers imply that Leslie will try to pull Ted Richardson back into her orbit. During the week of May 19 to 23, Leslie put on this wig and outfit that had her resemble Nicole Richardson. Will she do this again and visit Ted in his hotel room, hoping she can seduce him? How creeped out will Ted be when he sees Leslie like this? Lastly, Doug McBride will push the boundaries where Joey Armstrong is concerned. Is this a wise move considering how much money the gambling addict owes the sketchy casino owner? Joey has warned Doug countless times to pay up or else. So, whatever Doug does, how will the thug retaliate? Beyond the Gates spoilers hint that Joey and Doug's wife, Vanessa McBride, are slated to cross a line of their own in the back of the casino sometime this week. So if Doug tries to intimidate Joey or threaten him, will Joey turn around and seduce his wife out of pure revenge? Still struggling to process the news of Hayley's pregnancy, Chelsea begins Wednesday's episode in total disbelief. Naturally, Hayley is more than happy to clear things up. There's no chance in hell that Bill is ever going back to Dany, Hayley says. I'm sorry that you're upset, but the sooner you accept that, the easier it'll be for all of us. Chelsea storms off, but not before reminding Bill and Hayley that she's not about making things easier for either of them. Bill has approximately 2 seconds to breathe before his dinner is interrupted by yet another Dupree family member. This time, it's Martin who demands to speak to Bill alone. Are you out of your damn mind? Martin asks in regards to Bill's private chat with Smitty. He's a reporter, Bill. It's in his DNA to ask questions. When Martin raises his voice, Bill raises himself, towering over Martin to remind him exactly who he's speaking to. Bill admits that he'll want something from Martin eventually, reminding him that the Dupree family is still indebted to him. My favors aren't free, Bill reminds Martin. Don't you ever forget who cleaned up your mess that night. I didn't just fix the situation, Martin. I fixed you. Hayley interrupts this tense encounter with the news of her pregnancy, which sends Martin into a blind rage. Speaking to the entire dining room, Martin reveals, I might have done something terrible one night, something that still haunts me, but this man, this parasite in a suit, used it as a business opportunity. Turning his attention to Hayley, Martin suggests that she runs far and fast away from her husband. But just as Bill grabs Martin by the collar, Martin snaps out of it. Everything after Martin found out about the pregnancy was in his head. In reality, he congratulates Hayley and leaves the country club. all while an employee secretly records the conversation. Back at Martin and Smitty's place, things are getting hot and heavy between Jessica and Tyrell, the latter of whom pulls away when he begins to question the situation. He tells Jessica that he liked, nay, loved, the kissing, but he wonders if she was just taking pity on him after everything he went through at school. His paranoia then kicks into high gear as he directly accuses her of pranking him. "My bad for actually catching feelings for someone," she says, calling Tyrell toxic, insecure trash as she storms out of the house. When Martin returns home, Smitty angrily confronts him after catching him in another lie. He knows there was no emergency vote that pulled Martin away from Orphe Jeans, and he also knows that Martin went to see Bill. Why didn't he just say so? Martin asks Smitty how he knew where he really went, and Smitty says it's because he knows Martin so well. Martin then pivots the conversation to the news of Hayley's pregnancy, adding that he doesn't want to be anywhere near Dany when the bomb drops. Chelsea hightails it over to Dany's to share the bad news about Hayley's pregnancy, but Dany is laser-focused on her latest plan to use social media to save her reputation. Chelsea eventually grabs her mother's attention long enough to drop the baby bomb, but surprisingly, Dany doesn't explode. "I'm sorry to disappoint, but I intend to take this news standing up," Dany says. Is there any sadder sight than an aging lawyer, his trophy wife, and a designer baby? Dany asks. It's like a midlife crisis bingo card. Then Dany decides to swing for the fences, asking Chelsea whether she thinks Bill might not be the father of Hayley's offspring. Dany then jumps to another conclusion. What if there's no baby at all? What if this was all part of Hayley's plan to trap Bill with a fake trust fund baby? Chelsea accuses of her mother of doing too much, and we couldn't agree more. Not that we'd have Dany any other way. Forcing her mother to face reality, Chelsea asks if Dany will be able to handle it when Hayley gives birth to a very real child. And judging by Dany's next move, we'd say she won't handle it very well at all. Dany pays a visit to Hayley, waltzing in uninvited because Bill is terrible at changing the codes. Hayley can't believe that Dany would make a special trip this late at night just to congratulate her, but Dany makes it clear, "Oh, Hayley, I came to do way more than that." Derek and Ashley's mission to fix the relationship begins with a romantic dinner for two at, drumroll please, Orphe Jeans. Yeah, it's not exactly a 4-star restaurant, but Ashley appreciates how much meaning the diner has to both of them. She's less appreciative, however, of Derek trying to hand back his key to her apartment. She wants him to keep it. He's still her emergency contact after all. Derek and Ashley also agree to figure out what happily ever after means for them, and they'll figure it out together. I guess if we agreed on everything, if we were relationship goals right from the snap of a finger, we'd be the most boring couple ever, Ashley admits, to which Derek correctly replies, "You mean we're not?" Joining their friends at the diner, Naomi and Jacob are relieved to hear that Derek and Ashley are committed to working on things. "Sometimes love needs time to marinate," she says, adding that she and Jacob also struggled when they first moved in together. Beyond the Gate spoilers for June 2 to 6, 2025 see Eva Thomas toying with the idea of destroying her mom and Hayley Lawson playing wicked stepmother. As we always do on early edition day for all the soaps, we first talk about what is coming the rest of this week. On Wednesday, May 28th, we've got Tyrell messing up his first kiss by accusing the girl of pranking him for a social media stunt, hoping it will go viral. Looks like she wasn't doing that, so she gets mad, and she goes just as Daddy Bradley Smitty Smith arrives. But Tyrell won't tell his dad or his sister Samantha why the girl stormed out. Speaking of storming, Martin Richardson is angry after Smitty told him that Bill Hamilton's been talking out of turn. And so he shows up over to the Fairmont Crest Country Club to throw some shade at the lawyer. Hayley does not want to hear their bickering, and she leaves the table for a few minutes. Bill really doesn't want to hear it either, but Martin just won't stop. Bill calls Martin out for being a liar who has not come clean to his husband Smitty, and Martin threatens violence on Bill. We also have that sketchy dude who was stalking Martin at Ppushes, who's now masquerading as a busboy at the country club to spy on the Dupree grandson. So Bill threatens back because he's got juicy leverage on Martin. And Bill brings up that fateful night, the one that's clearly haunting Martin. When Hayley returns, she reveals her pregnancy news, and Martin offers a sarcastic, slow clap. Then he insults Bill and warns Hayley to get away from the bad guy. Martin then insults Bill's dad and he throws hands. But it turns out that a lot of that was just in Martin's head. I just don't like fantasy scenes like that. It just clogs things up. Anyway, Bill lies to Hayley and says Martin's issue is about the Dr. Ted Richardson affair thing and the cover-up that he did. Martin takes off and the secret spy follows after him. Also, Hayley tells her ex-BFF Naomi Hamilton Hawthorne that she has got Bill's bun in her oven, but she isn't impressed by Hayley one bit. Jacob Hawthorne is there to see all of this, and Hayley is hoping that they can call it bygones because they're all family now, but Naomi is not having it, and she takes off with Jacob. Chelsea Hamilton is super mad that her stepmomster is having a baby with Daddy Bill. But when Hayley tells her to get used to the idea, Chelsea has a mini meltdown and storms away. So that's two for two stepdaughters hating on her, and it turns out Bill has already started a college fund in advance of getting Hayley pregnant because of the last near-miss pregnancy thing. So they're excited about it. They could check that off the list. But literally nobody else is down for this. Derek Baldwin wants to give Ashley Morgan back her key, but she wants him to keep it only in case of emergencies. Turns out they're still dating, but not cohabitating. Naomi and Jacob show up, and Ashley says that they do love each other, but she and Derek just can't live together. Meanwhile, Kat calls Jacob, and he waits for her at Ppushes because she's got stuff to tell him. Smitty confronts Martin about lying about where he was gone to, and his hubby actually admits, "Okay, fine. I went to see Bill." But Martin keeps on lying to Smitty about why he went to see him. And then Martin drops the Hayley bomb baby bombshell to distract his hubby Smitty. And guess what? It works. So Martin and his husband know that Dany Dupree is going to blow up when she finds out. And guess what? That's happening on Wednesday as well. So Chelsea trots over and tells her mom, Dany, that Hayley is pregnant. And Dany is wondering if Hayley got knocked out by somebody else and cracks an AARP old guy joke about her ex-husband Bill. Then Dany suggests that Hayley is faking the pregnancy for some kind of monetary gain. And then Dany suggests Hayley is faking orgasms too, which icks out Chelsea. She doesn't want to hear anything about it. Hayley and Bill head home from the country club, and when Bill goes up to make a work call, Dany walks in the door to confront her. Thursday, May 29th, we've got Dany wanting Hayley to go pee on a pregnancy test stick, while she's there to witness it because Dany thinks Hayley is lying and faking. Dany warns Bill about making babies with his hussy wife, and I'm sure she's going to throw shade like she did while talking to Chelsea about Bill being too old for kids, etc. Doug is furious at Joey, who he now realizes set him up and deliberately used him to get to Vanessa McBride. And Joey brings Vanessa to his casino and rigs it for her to get a big win. And then Joey takes Vanessa to his office while she's on that gambler's high and rips off her clothes. Will Doug find out what they did? Jacob meets Kat to discuss the ongoing case of Laura being run off the road. And Kat suspects it's Eva, but signs are now pointing more firmly to insane Leslie. And at the law office, Naomi stops by to flip out on Bill and wonders if her dad expects her to throw her stepmomster Hayley a party. No one is excited about this baby except Bill and Hayley on Beyond the Gates. Leslie tries again to get Ted in the sack. And when she's got her hands on him this week, Kat walks in on Ted looking way too close to Leslie and totally loses it. Friday, May 30th, Anita Dupree worries her past actions will cause future trauma and trouble, but her friend Tracy agreed to talk to the other Articulate about a reunion show with the three of them. Ted wants so badly to reconcile with Nicole, but if Kat tells her mom that Ted was alone with Leslie, well, that's going to be a big problem. Meanwhile, Eva sneaks into Leslie's apartment to steal her mom's motorcycle helmet and gloves to use against her. But will Eva hand it to Jacob the cop, her detective half-sister Kat, amateur detective, or just keep the goods to blackmail Leslie and try and keep her in line? Her mom realizes they're gone, and she blows up at Eva. June 2nd through the 6th, we've got Leslie possibly facing arrest because Kat is closing in on her for not only the crash, but the potassium poisoning at the hospital. Jacob is still pushing and investigating, and Eva stealing hard evidence that could indict crazy Leslie are all very problematic. Smitty keeps digging into Martin's dirty secret because he knows his husband's telling him lies. And with Bill getting tired of Martin making scenes, who knows what he might say to Smitty because Bill has got all the power in this deal. But Martin keeps pushing his buttons. Anyway, Kat's not going to give up until she takes down Leslie and gets her out of her mom Nicole and her dad's Ted life once and for all. Doug wants payback on Joey, but he's got no money, no leverage, no power, no mob connections like the casino owner has. Doug is literally risking his life by pushing back on Joey too hard. Will Doug do the one thing that he can do and come clean to Vanessa about the debt and tell her that Joey did it to him on purpose to make the casino owner look like the bad man that he really is? And by then, since Vanessa shagged him, will she even care? Hayley was hoping that having Bill's baby would put her into the mainstream and get her more accepted in the social sphere of Fairmont Crest, but it might do just the opposite and further alienate her. Dany will make sure she makes it even harder on Hayley. Beyond the Gates spoilers indicate that Vanessa McBride is starting a sexual relationship with Joey Armstrong. Joey's motives seem to be to anger Vanessa's husband, Dr. Doug McBride, who owes Joey a great deal of money. Now that Vanessa is more deeply involved with Joey, she could find herself in grave danger. Joey wants his money, and he wants it now. He has continued to press Doug to pay back his debts, and he has made subtle hints about Vanessa to him. Vanessa still has no idea that Doug is in over his head, and Joey is growing closer to Doug's wife, Vanessa. She and Joey spent some time together when she was supposed to be at the hospital as Doug had just gotten his cast off, and Doug arrived at and Orphe Jeans to find Vanessa and Joey together and was not too pleased. Joey and Vanessa will begin to have sex as the two have been getting closer. It could spell disaster, as many have warned Vanessa, including her best friend, Dr. Nicole Richardson, not to get involved with Joey because he has a dangerous reputation. Joey will continue to seduce Vanessa and wait for the right opportunity to let Doug know that he is having sex with his wife. Doug would find Vanessa and Joey in bed and be livid. He would confront Vanessa and tell her that his is a bad move. He would lose it on Joey and go after him. Joey would tell him that was a mistake and he is a dead man now. Shortly thereafter, Doug would tell Vanessa that he had tolerated her fooling around for years, but now she has gone too far. Vanessa won't understand, and Doug may be forced to confess his gambling problem and that he owes Joey a great deal of money. This is why Joey is in Vanessa's orbit. Will Vanessa stand by her husband when she learns the truth? What do you think? Do you think Joey and Vanessa will begin an affair? Will Doug lose it when he finds them in bed together? Will Doug tell Vanessa that he is in over his head with Joey? Keep watching Beyond the Gates, weekdays on CBS, to find out what's next. And don't forget to check back right here for all your latest Beyond the Gates information, news, and spoilers. The Beyond the Gates What to Watch moments for Thursday, May 29, 2025, reveal new plans and risks that involve even more trouble. Doug is involving himself in a new risk with Joey, while Leslie hatches a new plan to get Ted back in her orbit again. Joey sees himself as the main character in his life. He's not a good guy to hang around. Yet Doug continues to be friends with him despite their sketchy friendship. Joey has already cost Doug a lot of money, but that hasn't stopped Doug from making deals with the devil. Joey has one thing that Doug wants: money. On Thursday's episode, Doug will take on a new risk involving Joey. But is it a good idea, or will he find himself in more debt? Doug continues to push the envelope, especially where his addiction is concerned. Meanwhile, Leslie is trying her hardest to get Ted back in her web. She will hatch a new plan involving him. But is he that dumb to get roped in again? We hope not. But then again, it's Ted we're talking about. We're curious to see what Leslie will try to do now to keep him around. Explosive secrets will also come out on Thursday's episode. Dany isn't taking Bill's and Hayley's news well. She issues a warning shot to her ex-husband. She has thoughts about his new wife, and she's sharing them, even if he doesn't want to hear them. Kat and Jacob find out more information about Laura's mysterious attack, which landed her in the hospital. What will they find? And what will they do when they get this new information? Will it end up in the right hands? Chelsea took it upon herself to tell her mother about Hayley's baby news in the Wednesday, May 28 episode of Beyond the Gates. And Dany reacted as Chelsea probably expected, wildly, manically, and a little bit delusionally. Chelsea felt her mother was being extra. Is that true? While Martin did some going off on his own in Wednesday's episode, he was right about not wanting to be around his Aunt Dany when she found out about Hayley's and Bill's baby news. Dany was almost manic in her response. She kept ranting and would barely let Chelsea get a word in edgewise. Dany's diatribe started with her feeling that Hayley wanted to lap up the attention and ended up with her speculating that the young woman was faking the pregnancy. Dany felt that Hayley's plan would involve a fake pregnancy, then a fake miscarriage. A miscarriage that would garner a lot of sympathy, and as a result, the whole Fairmont Crest community wouldn't have any choice but to accept her into the fold. Now, this is Hayley's second stab at pregnancy. She thought she was with child before, but it didn't happen. Unfortunately, because we still don't know Hayley well enough, we have no idea whether she is telling the truth about anything. On the flip side, Dany's manic rants are completely in character, but we also know when she's being serious or vulnerable, or when she's in trouble, happy, or supportive. We are also well aware of her tendency to hype out-of-control theories. Meanwhile, it's difficult to think that Hayley would fake this pregnancy. It's easily disprovable, but so far, she hasn't shown any proof. We simply have to take her word for it. Before she spilled the news to Bill, she was complaining to her husband about how their life wasn't their own. She lamented constantly having to deal with his ex-wife or his kids. This way, she becomes Bill's primary focus and nobody else. Hayley is still a mystery to us. This whole relationship with Bill could be sincere. Or it could be Hayley's grand scheme for money and power. Only time will tell. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Wednesday, May 28, indicate some explosive moments in Fairmont Crest. Dany Dupree is given some shocking baby news, while Bradley Smitty Smith's suspicion is growing. Plus, Tyrell Richardson allows his insecurities to get the better of him. Read more about what fans can expect to unfold on the CBS soap. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Wednesday, May 28, suggest Dany will be completely floored by some baby news that Chelsea Hamilton shares. Of course, Chelsea was privy to Hayley Lawson Hamilton's announcement that she and Bill Hamilton are expecting during the May 27 episode, so it sounds like she'll run right to her mother to spill the tea. What will Dany's reaction be? Across town, Smitty will grow increasingly suspicious of Martin Richardson. Smitty can sense Martin is hiding something, and he's not wrong, as his husband continues to try and keep a massive secret. Will Smitty get to the bottom of things, and will he inch closer to finding out what Martin's secret is during Wednesday's show? Speaking of Smitty and Martin, Beyond the Gate spoilers for Wednesday note that as their son Tyrell and Jessica get closer, his insecurities will kick in.